Hello and welcome to the Triple B podcast. We are the Buds Busting Balls. Today, we're changing things up. We don't have structure, we don't have organization. We're just going to talk about video games and possibly my left testicle, to be determined. We are talking video games. That was an awkward intro. Play the music. Think about what I just said.
What did you do? I am not very comfortable with testicles being in the first 10 seconds.
No,
You did that
it's
right
fine.
when I took a drink and it kind of went up my nose. I had some whiskey just go up the back of my nose. Thanks.
We want more people to listen, not less people. Matt's
Listen.
testicles are not a draw.
Then
in
why do
any
you guys
sense
keep
of the
talking
word.
about them? You guys keep talking about them. I thought, fine, we're going to bring this into podcast land now. Hey, let's keep rolling. Hey, today with us, we have Mike Bowerman, known as Bauer Tendo on all the things. He is the man that is late to everything. I hate him for it. And with us, we have Scott Stevens, who's talked about my balls more than anyone else that has ever existed. That is a true fact. I'm not even kidding. It's kind of weird. Scott's here. Hi. I'm celiac_Matt on Twitch and things like that. Let's do our tried and true questions. What are you drinking? What are you gaming? I am drinking a Liquid Death Rest in Peach. I absolutely love it. And what I've been playing recently is a whole lot of things. You're about to find out what they are. Scott, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking water because I feel like an unhealthy sack of crap lately. So at least there's going to be something going into my body that's not swimming in calories. So there you go. As far as gaming, wouldn't you like to know? Which is obviously why you're listening to this podcast, because we're talking about what we're currently playing. So stay tuned.
Fantastic. Mike, what are you drinking?
And I decided because work has really sucked recently that I'm just going to have a whiskey. And this is whiskey. There's nothing else in it. It's whiskey and ice, baby. It's on the rocks and that's it.
What's your brand? Don't say
Uh,
Jack.
No, it's Bullet, I think is how you pronounce it. It's Bulleit. Bullet. I don't know how you'd say it, but it's good. It's very good. And
No way.
and I don't play games. I think games are stupid. So you're not going to hear
Yeah.
about what games I'm playing right now.
Yeah, we hate
He's
video
too old for
games.
games. We've grown out of games and we have adult hobbies now.
Yeah,
like
gaming's for
firing
children.
guns and playing together model airplanes. That's because that's what adults do.
Mhm.
And
least according to my dad.
cryptocurrency.
Yo, crypto. Damn it. You're right.
This is
Crypto.
now a Crypto Bro podcast. So our podcast initially started out as just a gaming podcast, and then we started to branch out to other things like wrestling, boppers, my testicles. That's my last time talking about balls. Don't worry. Just like CM Punk, it's time for us to go home and talk gaming again. We're going to chat about our current games and thoughts around gaming. And I want to start things off. We talked about it a little bit, but I need to talk about it again. Recently, I've beaten two games. One on stream, which was Resident Evil 4. The other was off stream, which was Lies of P. Mike has played and beaten both of them. We already chatted about Lies of P quite a bit. They were on our top games list. Lies of P is really good. I recently started the New Game Plus, and it feels weird going from a game that I had to really struggle to get through. It was a challenge to wow, I'm overpowered now. So it's interesting running through this game that was previously really challenging. I'm just one-shotting everyone left and right. Have you done the New Game Plus at all, Mike?
I did a little bit, and it frees you up to really explore. Like, I explored before, but there's always that fear of I built up a lot of currency here. Now it's like, screw it, man. I'm just going to go over there because if something jumps out, they ain't going to kill me.
I did die at one point in two occasions. Three, sorry. Twice of them I fell. I
was going to say, did you fall or kill yourself? Yep.
I fell off of things and I died. The other is I did just straight up get beat by the guy that just runs with a pitchfork and just runs into you a bunch of times and it does a bunch of damage.
It's annoying, yeah.
And I was just I didn't block it. That's fine. I'll survive. Let's keep going. It keeps going. Oh, I died. So I felt really bad actually dying after feeling super strong. But one thing I noticed about the game, and Wind Waker did this as well. Because if you're playing Wind Waker and you meet some of the gods or deities or whatever, they have this gibberish on the screen that you don't know what they're saying. But when you play the game again, it actually is words that you can read. Lies of P does that as well. I don't know if you noticed that because some of the puppets that you fight have these gibberish. They actually say things now, which I'm like, ooh, I can understand what you're saying, which is pretty cool. So I thought that was a neat feature.
Which really fits into the whole I'm a real boy, right?
Yeah.
How I love that game so much. It's so
It's
good.
it's a very good game. I vibe with it. Scott one day might play it. Scott, you did mention you were going to play Resident Evil 4. Have you started it yet?
The intention was to start this past weekend, but there's a certain other game that has totally hijacked all my gaming focus recently. I'll talk about a little bit later, talk about it at length. But I'm just saying, I am currently playing a game that could very well end up being one of my favorite games of all time. So
You should just
there we
talk
go.
about it right now, my dude.
We're going to talk about it right now.
Get right
Lay it
into
on
it, man. Do
Lay
it.
it on us. What is the game?
No structure,
All right.
baby. Go.
Cool. Something that might get Corey very excited. That's right. That's the bud plug for today. Wanting to hear about my progress on the game. And if you remember last week, I mentioned that I am starting a little game by the name of The Last of Us Part 1. So this is the remastered version, not the original. It's funny the game's called The Last of Us because I feel like that describes me because I'm probably like the last person out there who's played this game at this point and everybody else has. So I'm going to be pretty loose with the spoilers because if you haven't played it at this point and know what I'm talking about, you probably...
Sorry, I had to.
That would have been a lot
You did a
funnier like
pun.
5 seconds earlier.
I had to find it. I had to find it to make the noise. I'm like, oh, I've missed my moment, but now I have.
It was
I don't
so,
care.
it
I'm
was
still
so
gonna
late,
do
I
it.
was confused. Okay. Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted by a very badly timed drum roll, yeah, I'm gonna be very out there. Oh my god, come on!
I'm done.
You're killing
I'm
me.
done now.
You're
I'm
killing
done.
me. I don't go and interrupt your stuff with sound effects. Please be
Yet.
respectful. There's gonna be retaliation.
Yep.
Anyhow. So I've never played the original version of The Last of Us back when it was just called The Last of Us and not Part 1. So it's really weird. If you've never played the remake, these things I'm going to pimp out and say I love may not be present in the original. I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me. I'm just going by off what my initial experience is and going through it. As you probably have gathered from me from previous episodes, I am a very critical person. Even my favorite things in the world, I can find nitpicky things to complain about. Like, it's almost perfect, but this is one thing. So far, granted, I don't know how far I am into the game. Maybe the halfway point. I have no criticism about the game.
I can tell you where
I
you're
don't.
at. If you tell me where you're at, and I can tell you how far you are.
And this is actually something I want to talk about more in detail, but I just got through the sewer area that was kind of like
Ooh.
You got a ways to go, baby. You got a ways to go. Mm-hmm.
But so far, though, this game has been basically the perfect game. The combat is fun. Well, a little asterisk on now. I'll get to that in a second. But I'm loving the combat, at least the way I'm currently playing it. I love the pacing. You guys, you're always going off and off and off about your sound design. And I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. I just play my, punk music in the background instead of listening to the game audio. This game, fantastic sound design. Now I know, I believe, I am a believer in the sound design. Just the sound you creeping through, completely no noise at all, and then you just start hearing the clicking.
The clickers, baby.
Around.
Ooh.
And it's just like, there's badness around me. I love how it's a bleak game, but I just love how they just throw in moments of lightheartedness. It's a depressing game overall, but they throw in just enough light and hope and laughs to kind of like not make it just a total pit of suffering. The graphics. This is one beautiful game. I'm sure that's probably something that you don't really get unless you're playing the remake, but I think this is a very high quality remake just based off like, dude, this remake looks better than games that just literally just came out. I am loving it. And one of the big things, and this may make me sound like a psycho, I love the physics. In particular, when you shoot people, my favorite one is, so one really cool thing is the different type of weapons you do actually leave different types of wounds in the enemies. So a headshot with a pistol versus a headshot with a Magnum leaves completely different. I'm not going to go into detail, but just imagine what it would look like one versus the other. And it captures that. And the enemies are actually smart. The AI actually, like, if you reload your gun or you switch guns, they will take that opportunity to charge at you. Last night, I had a moment where I was switching my guns to a Magnum. And as I was doing that, one of the enemies just did a suicide charge at me. Out of blind luck, I was able to whip out my gun and get a headshot on him. Completely, luck fire. Hit him in the head, made him do a backflip because of the impact of his face. And he had like basically no face left from it. But just the physics of that. It's like, holy shit, that's actually how I would imagine a real human body would like move if that actually happened to them as they're running forward at you. But probably my favorite thing about this game is the story. And I'm not necessarily talking about the main story, which is great, but one thing that I've always heard people like say that they loved about FormSoft games is like, oh yeah, it tells a great story, but it's not in your face. You have to discover it. I've never actually felt that way with those games, so I don't necessarily agree with it for those games, but definitely The Last of Us does a fantastic job of the stories that they don't put in your face. Like my favorite example is going back to the sewer section to kind of lay it out for you. The sewer originally was inhabited by some crazy hermit guy. He probably wasn't crazy, but he was a hermit. He was just chilling out there on his own. Society's breaking down. And then he goes and starts feeling bad for the local residents, especially the ones with children, of like, oh, they're out in danger and I could be doing stuff to help them and let them live in my great little area that have this good thing going. So he starts welcoming them into his little sewer area, and he actually builds a community. And if once you go through there, at this point, nobody is left down there, at least nobody left alive. But you can see tons of evidence of like there's nurseries, there's little playgrounds, there's a little classroom. You can kind of see like, wow, these guys really had a good little system going down here. Like they were really trying to rebuild their lives, and they were especially like focusing on kids, which that's a weird thing in these type of games where Resident Evil 4, not a single child you see in the entire game, at least in the original. I don't know if they acknowledged it in the remake, but most horror games, they don't acknowledge the fact that like, oh yeah, all this bad stuff that happened, there's kind of kids there the entire time, and this really shitty stuff is happening to the kids as well. And you're just looking at all these different notes, all these different letters left behind. The one that really broke my heart is there's like a little picture, a drawing a little kid made of like the sewer hermit person that was started welcoming everybody in, and they did a really crude drawing of him saying, our hero, our protector, Ish. I think his name was Ish. And it's just like, oh, this is somebody they really look forward to. Later on, you go into a classroom. It was completely sealed up, and you break the door open to go inside, and you just find a full-grown adult's corpse and a bunch of children corpses. And you read the note next to him, and he basically says, like, I don't know how many people survived, but we got overrun by infected. I've sealed the door to the classroom. I have a bunch of children with me, and we can only hope that Ish is going to go and save us before time runs out. But if it comes to that, I'll make sure it's quick for the children. And so then once you realize, like, oh, wow, he killed all the kids to save them from being, killed
starvation or getting killed by the infected. Mm-hmm.
And then you find out that this character, Ish, the one they were hoping to save him, turns out he escaped and locked the door, basically sealed them all in there to go and make sure that none of the infected get out. And basically, but by doing that, kind of dooming everybody who was still in there. And again, like the game, no cutscenes about this, no in your face, like, oh, here's this, what's going on with that. These are all things you had to discover yourself by piecing together these pictures, piecing together these notes. And I'm not going to lie, I've been thinking about that whole thing a lot today. There's other stories in there that you have to figure out yourself in the game. I personally thought the sewer one so far was the most interesting, but it's just a mastercraft of storytelling, of not having to hit you over the head with the story. It's going to makes you think about and piece it together your own and give you that moment of like, oh crap, I figured out what happened. I put all the pieces together. This is the picture of what went down here. And this really freaking sucks. So sorry, talked a lot about this game, but hopefully it's coming through.
No,
like
this is
how much I am loving this game.
This is my number 3 game of all time. You could talk as much as you want, as much as you want about it.
I actually I did a really good play session of it on Sunday night. It's like, all right, how late is GameStop open till? All right, hey, pre-ordering Last of Us Part 2 remaster now, and I'm super psyched for it, especially the fact that like I'm enjoying this game, and by the time I finish up with it, I can just jump straight into Part 2. So to answer Matt's previous question, that is why I have not played Resident Evil 4 yet, just because I am all in currently on The Last of Us.
And I love how The Last of Us as well, it does a good mix of both that environmental storytelling, because that is one of the biggest, like, oh dude, this is awful situation, but it mixes those with actual in like the story around Joel and Ellie. Matt, I'm just waiting to hear Or I can only imagine his response to the brothers. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mm.
And what I love about it is it's nothing that's groundbreaking. It's nothing that we haven't seen in other films or games or movie, shows, whatever. But it's how they present these things, and it really makes the case for gaming as a medium to tell these stories, and that's why they made it into a show. And it's funny because you mentioned about this game. You haven't gotten to. I think it's coming up here soon. A character named Bill.
No, Bill came before that.
Oh, he
was,
came before it.
the-
Okay.
Bill was earlier.
So in the game, Bill's, he's the quirky character. I thought he was right after the sewer you came out, but I must have got it backwards. In the game, it kind of implies some things about him and his friend. It implies things. It doesn't really go into it. The show, oh, you know all about Bill, and it is heartbreaking. And oh goodness, it's so good. It is so good. That game is so good. And if you like the physics and stuff too, so I'm gonna preface this. I hope that you enjoy The Last of Us Part 2 more than I did. I loved that game the first 85% of it. The last 15% of it kind of ruined it for me. Like, badly. Where I went, I don't really know if I want to play this again. I think I might try it again now that I know, right? My expectations are checked. But the first game is like the first season of Ted Lasso. It is top tier. The other things that come after it may be good. It's not going to hit that note. They knocked that out of the ballpark, which is so weird because it was the last game on the PS3, which was not a very successful console either.
No.
And
No,
Naughty Dog didn't do this stuff before. Like, they made Uncharted, which was Indiana Jones. They made Jak and Daxter. Like, they didn't do this. The Crash Bandicoot. Like, they didn't do this stuff. So it was just kind of weird how this game came out, and it was like, wow, why didn't you guys do this from the start?
I'd say the Uncharted games follow that while still being a video game. Last of Us tried to be a bit more realistic with what they did. I'm curious about, because I absolutely loved when I played the game. I mentioned in a previous podcast that was my send off for the PS3. It was one of the last games made on the PS3. It's like the last game I played and beat before I moved from California to Indiana. So that was kind of cool send off as well in that way. I never played the remake or the remaster, whatever you want to call it. And I think I have it technically for free. I got it on PS Plus like maybe a year or two ago, so it's in my library. Just haven't touched it because I'm like, I already played it. What do I need to play it again? Hearing about the remaster and what they did, and you talking about the graphics of it, because I remember on the PS3, I'm like, this game is perfect as far as from a graphical standpoint. I don't think I've played a game that's even more beautiful. That was on the PS3. So I'd be curious to see what it looks like now. So you got my interest that I might jump back in.
It's more
on
like The
game,
Last of Us Part 2.
which
They
I haven't played.
purposefully, which it also irks me that they're making these stupid names. They're like The Last of Us Part 1, but now The Last of Us Part 2 remastered. Like, the hell, guys? Why are you you're all the people that are OCD that want to get the physical copies of this are like, I want to punch you in the face. Why did you do it this way? And I think they changed the coloring on the side of the case. God, it's so frustrating. But yeah, it's more in line with The Last of Us Part 2 physics and presentation, which, let me tell you, Last of Us Part 2, some of those puzzles, I was legitimately, I had to stop and be like, that was so fucking cool. Like, wow, that was cool. How I didn't think that was possible in games.
The funniest thing is, so one thing, and we talked before about Scott does not like the spoopy. I am not for the spoop. And that was one of my big hesitations going into this game. It's like, man, the spoop. And there's definitely been creepy parts, like crawling around in the really dark area and hearing a clicker. That's kind of creepy. I've actually had only one jump scare so far playing this game, and it was the stupidest thing. I cleared out an entire area that was humans, not even like infected. It was just humans. Clear out the entire area, and I'm like, all right, that was easy. I blew them all apart with my shotgun. Time to go walk around, start looting. And there was a tripwire set to an explosive that I did not see at all. and my guard was completely down because I was just like, I killed everybody. Time for me to just take my time and loot, and then I just turn a corner and explode and die. And I'm not even exaggerating. This may sound like an exaggeration, it is not. I almost fell out of my couch. I was just like, whoo! And then I was just kind of like on my side, almost like flopped to the side, and I'm just like grabbing the arms, like trying to pull myself back up. Like it was bad. And this is why Scott does not like the jump scares. It's
I
just
hate
like
you know what that reminds me of? Resident Evil 4 original did this to me with the stupid bear traps. Like I just
yeah.
The
be playing
bear and the
and
noise of it.
camera,
It's so
it
loud
makes
and
the
everything.
noise, and the camera just like jolts because you went in a bear trap, and I was just like, ah! And I would
Honest-
jump to that on that more than anything else in the video game. Just
it wasn't even the sound for me. And like it just goes back to it's the unexpectedness when you're in one mode, like I'm at calm or I'm like, I think everything's cool, and then suddenly it's just completely changed. I just don't like that sudden like jerk between different emotions, different states of being. So yeah, I totally understand though. Like it would never fail to like, God, mother effing bear trap. Like, yeah, I feel you, man.
This is now the Last of Us podcast.
It is.
That was a lot about Last of Us. The fact that you got me like,
Was.
maybe I will play this game again. That
You
tells you
should.
something.
It's so good.
You
I
should.
probably will once I get through.
I'm probably
mini
gonna get
and
it too.
everything.
I'm just waiting for the right price because I had the original at one point. I got the remastered and played that. I got the remastered, like I kept the remastered. I played it again on the PS5. So I'm like, I'll play it again because it's like one of my favorite games of all time. It's so good. So I'll get it.
Yeah, like
You know what else
honestly,
is good?
Oh,
Oh.
segue.
oh, oh,
Segue.
oh, segue
Segue.
time.
What else is good?
Marvel Snap.
Oh god, back to Last of Us. No, we're gonna pretend that didn't happen. I'm good. I am Last of Us talked out. Let's talk more playing of Last of Us for Scott. I will be back next week with my thoughts.
I
Yeah,
am
that's
so
fine.
excited to hear about your thoughts. I've said this before. I'll say it again. The final scene and how it plays out. You know it generally, but you don't know it until you watch it, you experience it, and then the way that it cuts, and you go, ah. And I feel like people fall on one side or the other. There is no like, I don't know how I felt about that. Like you feel immediately one way or the other. And I'm very interested to see which way you fall. Very good. Very good.
You know what part in that game took me the longest to get through? I won't give any spoilers other than this. I'll tell you, Mike, hunting the deer. That hunting the deer bit in the snow, that took me friggin' forever. That was
Oh
the
yeah,
only
that was
part
the
of
worst part
game-
of God of War.
The very beginning of God of War.
Yeah. Like, God, you're gonna get to it. I hope it's not as bad as it was for me, but I'm just like, what am I doing wrong? I can't get past this.
I think that was you, dude. I really
It was-
do.
oh, it
It
was
was not
definitely
that
me
bad. It's not that bad, Scott. If you're gonna get there and be
I-
like, Matt, are you okay? Is this
No.
your?
No,
Could you not do
no.
it because you didn't have a left nut?
No, that was pre losing my nut.
Oh, that was pre.
Listen. The
Maybe you
class needs
needed to get it
know-
removed.
The class needs to know I do have two. I just had a weird vasectomy. Okay. Moving on. We should all play Marvel Snap. I'm not going to talk about it too much. That is a great game, the best mobile game ever created. Don't at me, bro. Or do I
Possibly
don't
the only
care.
good mobile game ever created.
The only good mobile game ever created is Marvel Snap. I play it so much, and I absolutely love it. It brings me happy. It fills the hole that my left nut left when it left me. There you guys go. Last ball talk from
You
Matt.
heard it here
Hey,
first, folks. It fills this hole.
Another game that I've been vibing with, and my wife told me to play it for a long time, so I finally did. It's very similar to Slay the Spire, which you guys know. I love Slay the Spire. Scott played a lot of Slay the Spire, which, by the way, Slay the Spire, I actually got through the final boss on Ascension level 20 with the robot for the first time. And I was like, let's go. And then they're like, hey, guess what? There's now another boss you have to fight right after. And I was like, what? I finally made it. I finally made it. And there's another boss. And I'm quite angry at it. Anywho, this game is a lot easier, but it has a lot of variety and things going for it. It's called Monster Train. I think it's PC only. If it ever makes its way to console, I do think, Scott, you would vibe with it quite a bit. But it's a deck building fighting game, roguelike deck building fighting game. I don't spend too much time on it other than I like it. I think Scott would actually like it. So if it ever makes its way to console, because I know you won't really want to play a lot of PC games, I play it on my wife's Steam Deck, which is a perfect device for that. That's another thing. I've been playing the Steam Deck a lot. Like
I have
more
two
than-
recently.
more
Yeah,
than
a
my
lot.
Switch. because like there are some really good games that work well on it. Like for you, I know it's Dave the Diver.
Look, I
which
don't
I'll let you-
care. I don't care how it if it's the Switch, if it's the deck, if it's the Switch 2. I don't care what it is. One day you're gonna see the light for portable gaming, and then you're gonna go, Mike. I understand you finally. After all these years, I finally understand you. I
I
get it.
don't hate portable gaming. It's just I feel I'm playing for the most part a lackluster product when I play something portable. The exception, and even in the Switch, when I play a game handheld on the Switch, I'm like, this is better on the TV. The Steam Deck is like, okay, I'm vibing with this because these are some quality games I don't feel are really being hindered being in handheld mode. And I'll be honest, if I'm playing something on the go, it's Marvel Snap. Anywho, I have chatted about Monster Train. That's a fun game. I won't spend a lot of time on it. Mike, I think you want to talk about Dave the Diver, right? You've been
How
playing
did
Dave
you
the
know? What?
Diver.
Have never talked about that game before. Hey, everybody, play Dave the Diver. That game rocks. It's worth your money. I got it on sale. It's worth full price. I am telling you, I'm actually in the middle. I was downloading some stuff too. I'm in the middle. I'm going to be making a video on it. I am constantly blown away by this game. I went through a section where it reminded me of the Ace Attorney games. Like it was purposeful, like the music and the text would pop up. It was from a first person perspective and somebody standing in front of you and you're asking specific question. Like I was like, what the hell? What am I playing it? And then like I'm also playing like Moonlighter where instead of a dungeon, I'm in the sea, but also there's a story and there's actually some kind of touching moments in there that's like, oh, that's actually kind of making me feel things. And I want to point out, this is so stupid, but I love the stupid faces from Dave. I want you to take a second while I'm talking about Dave the Diver and look, like do a Google search for Dave faces during talking or something, right? There is this one specific face that he makes that makes me laugh every single time, and there's no words spoken in the game. It's kind of like the Wind Waker, like the and everybody's got different tones, right? Every time Dave does his voice, it's just and he has this face that it makes me laugh every time. And the animations too, I think you mentioned it before, Matt, that you've seen the animations of the sushi chef. They do not have any right to go as hard as they freaking do at all. And they are so, I'm talking like it's retro looking, but like so animated so well that like when he grabs his sword, you can see each finger come down smoothly over the sword and like he pulls it apart. It is so great. I don't even know how to explain this game. It's so fun and it's so addicting. The story is entertaining. The characters are charming. Everybody's over the top. You remember these characters. And there's something about going into the sea, catching these fish, serving the sushi, and seeing your money go up. Seeing how much money you made. You end up recruiting more people, whether they're cooks, whether they're fellow servers. You can train these people to do better jobs. They each have their own specific talents that they can learn. Like maybe they pour beer better, maybe whatever. Scott is making some really weird faces there while he's looking up stuff.
That was a yawn.
Oh, okay.
I've been up since 5, so yeah.
Oh, okay. But it's I don't know, and it's crazy. There are boss battles. I didn't expect boss battles in this game, and they're dope as hell. Like last night, I fought a crab that had a dump truck on its back.
Now, did it have a dump truck or was it just like a thick butt?
No, it was an actual literal dump truck, like a big old yellow dump truck turned upside down, and well, I guess it kind of had a dump truck underneath there, but like. It was carrying the dump truck, and you fight this thing, and it's just, I don't know, there's something about it that's like the animations, the colors, the visual, the gameplay loop, the music, everything is just so relaxing. And if you have a Steam Deck, it's on Switch too, if you have a Switch, this is a perfect game for that. It's perfect. It runs perfectly fine on the Switch. It runs perfectly fine on the Steam Deck. You don't have to do any finicking with it. You just boot it up and play it. Wonderful. It is so wonderful. It's just a good time. It's just a good time. I can't talk highly enough about Dave the Diver. I'm very legitimately surprised. Also, Scott, a little bit of a sell for you. So, you know, like the creepiness of Dredge, of like the unknown, the weirdness popping up underneath the water? There are moments like that in Dave the Diver, especially when you open up the night diving. And there are moments where I was like, I think I'm gonna be done for tonight, like for this session, like at this moment, because I'm feeling way too creeped out by this. I don't like it, right? And it's not Dredge creepy, but it's just the fact that it's like in the ocean at night. It just it's hard to explain. It's really good. Dave the Diver, 100% recommend. 100% recommend that game.
I just added it to my watch list on Steam. Maybe someone will buy it for me at some point.
I'm
I was
sure,
looking at
yep.
some of the I've gotten so many free games recently. It's been stupendous. I love you all. That I was looking at some of the facial expressions, and what cracks me up about this is he looks so much like my wife's favorite streamer, Dan.
Yes, Dan.
He looks like Dan Gaming, and that
Yes.
is so endearing to me.
Okay, I thought that too, but then I thought,
Yeah.
sometimes I do that, and people are like, "What the hell's wrong with you, Mike? That doesn't look like anything like them." So I never said anything. But I'm so happy to hear. I thought the same thing. And did you see the face where he's doing like the? Did you see that one? Like, it is so funny. This what face makes me laugh every time, and the noise that he makes every time gets me.
What cracks me up is I first saw this game because Dan's Gaming was playing this game. I was like, oh, he made an avatar of himself. Then I felt like, wait, that's the model?
That's not him.
That's Dan's Gaming.
You should go as a Halloween, costume.
up.
Just show
I'm
up
Dave.
with a Hawaiian shirt, and then that's it.
I love it. That game looks like a lot of fun. It is on my Steam wish list here.
Oh,
Hey,
it's delightful.
Another quick little game I've been playing, mainly with my wife. It's called Tricky Towers that I've been having fun with. Also,
I've heard
on
of
the
that
Steam
one.
Deck.
I've heard of that one.
Now, it was on sale for like $4, so I got it. My wife already had it. It's competitive Tetris, but it's not just playing regular Tetris where you try to eliminate rows. It's based around building, and they're puzzles where like here's a weird little thing that you need to like kind of shove the pieces into, even in like ways you wouldn't think with Tetris. I know I see your facial expression. Yes.
What do you have to do?
Shove things into weird places, Mike.
My, now you have my attention.
All right, guys, there it is. That's all you need to hear about Tricky Towers. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Shove things in weird places. That's it. I'm going to stop talking about that. You know what else is good? You talked about it, Mike. Moonlighter. Moonlighter was gifted to me by Gooden, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. And then you and a couple others have said that Moonlighter is basically, or Day the Diver is just Moonlighter, but
in the ocean.
water,
It's the ocean.
So I'm just like, okay, say less, as the kids say. So that's a good one. I want to talk about Undertale.
Yeah.
I really need to talk about Undertale. Another game gifted to me. Here's a common thing. I like games that are free. This was gifted to me. I knew very little about the game other than people really liked it, and it wasn't like a real RPG. It was a deconstruction RPG. But I purposely didn't look into it because I figured one day I'll play it, and that day is now. And I love it. The music is some of the best I've heard in any video game ever. It is constantly on my playlist. Like anytime I'm like driving or want to play something on Spotify, I'm like, let's blast some Undertale. The music is so good. There's so much humor and charm in this game, and it's just freaking funny. And it actually is challenging, not in a gameplay standpoint. It's in a how do I solve this to achieve my goal? Because essentially, there's like 3 ways you can play it: as a regular RPG where you will fight enemies, as a super terrible person where you kill everyone, and that actually sounds like a challenging thing to do, or 3, the pacifist route, which is considered like the more definitive Undertale play style to go through, which is what I'm doing, where you don't fight anyone. And the way you get out of these fights is just insane. Like I just did this bit where I got 2 burly buff guards. Instead of fighting me, I got them to admit their love for each other so they could go get ice cream. And then I just walked away. I'm like, what just happened? This is the greatest game I've ever played. I have been streaming it and I've been loving it. And everyone that knew that pops in my stream, I'm like, I get right in my microphone, like, I have not played this before. Don't say anything. Let me play this game. Because so many people love this game and want to see people enjoy it. And I freaking love Undertale. I know both of you have played it and loved it. Scott more recently than Bauer.
Favorite character? Go.
Oh,
So
gosh.
far. Fine, you think about it. Scott, favorite character? Go.
He hasn't got to him yet, but it's Burger Pants. I love Burger Pants. And he has one particular moment that kind of captures like the essence of me. It's just like you threaten to murder him when you're doing genocide run. And it's like, I can't go to hell. I have no vacation days left or something like that. It's just like, bro, that's my mood right now.
I'm vibing with Papyrus quite a bit.
Okay,
I think
that's a good
very
answer.
easy-
That's a
it's
that's a
very-
common
it's
answer.
It's a very easy answer. Like Sans is fun, but Papyrus just has so much freaking charm right now.
He's like Skeletor to me. Like, you'll
Best thing
never
about-
catch me.
Every time he says, yeah, I kind of like imagine it like Skeletor
Skeletor?
saying it.
Exactly.
And the thing, it's hard to describe, and I hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about, but the pose, you know how like it shows a pose of them as they're talking, his little sassy like hand on his hip.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah. I love the sassy hand hip.
Yes.
I can feel Papyrus.
I might change mine to the dog you defeat by just petting him nonstop as his neck gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then like loops down the other side of the screen as well.
Well, I am very happy. I was still, and this is, I guess, a good like kudos to Matt's followers. When he said he was going to play the game, I was thinking, like, yeah, they're going to make him go down the dick path route. They're going to go and tell him to do all the horrible things. But you are making Matt play pacifist, and I am proud of you all because
I know.
while I do, when you
Go
beat
ahead.
the game, I do recommend when you beat the game to just jump on the Undertale wiki and read what happens in the genocide route, because it does add, because they're both canon, really. It's just two different sides of the same coin, seeing like, all right, if this person is my best friend, but if I did this is how he reacts to that situation. But the feels you get for a pacifist run, like towards the end of it, dude, like, I'm not gonna lie, for a game that is very simplistic and very retro art style, it pulled off an amount of feels that I really don't know how it pulled off on that for me. Like, there's friends I have who have played that game, like recommended to them, and they played through it, and they're just like, they're still kind of like dwelling on some of the things they saw in that game and did in that game to this day. Like, I'm very excited for you, Matt. Like, I will admit, going back, I did not think you would enjoy the game at all, but the fact that you are enjoying the game, I'm like, let's go if you like it so far. And it's just getting going. Like, it's just the beginning.
I'm having a blast.
Well, then
did
you
the
got to play
jet-
Deltarune. You got to get caught up on the
that's what I've
Deltarune
been told.
episodes.
That's what I've been told.
episodes.
And someone said that, Matt, once you beat Undertale, I might gift you Deltarune. I'm like, yeah, dude, give me stuff. I just did the bit where like your cell phone suddenly turns into a jetpack with the game show host robot dude or Metatron.
Metatron.
He's-
Okay, that may be my favorite character.
He's
Sorry,
killing
Burger.
me.
I'm
Yes.
legitimately surprised that you didn't. I fully expected you to say Metatron, and when you said Burger Pants, I was like, I mean, that makes sense, but wow, that's surprising.
We love
Any
Undertale.
guesses to my favorite character? Any guess?
You're a Sans guy.
Nope,
You're
I'm
a
not.
Sans guy.
I'm not. I
You're
really
not
like
Sans
Sans,
guy?
but nope, it's not my favorite character.
I don't know. Have I met them yet?
I'm pretty certain you have by this point.
It wouldn't be Alphys, would it?
Mm-mm.
Oh god, I hate Alphys is like my least favorite
No.
character in the game.
She's a bit hard to get through out of everything else, but I did enjoy the constant live like Twitter updates as you're going around with her.
Yes,
If it's a character you met already, then
I'm
pretty much
pretty certain you've met this character. You fought them.
Undyne.
There you go.
Yeah, and how you cook with like violence and strength and things like that.
Yes, and
That
I
was
love
a great bit.
I love the character
music
arc
was
with
good,
her
too.
too, and her song. Thank you for saying that, because that song, that battle song, do 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 do.
Dude,
Favorite in the whole game. Like, look, whole game has bangers. That's my favorite.
That and Megalovania.
Thank you. Can we talk about music? Can we talk about the music in that game? And the thing that's super sad though is the best song and the most well-known song from that game, you actually don't get to hear unless you're doing a genocide run. But dude, so like that, it's not going to spoil anything. Just I would listen to it just so you can appreciate the bangerness of it, and that's Megalovania.
Yeah,
Like that, you've heard
Yeah,
it.
he's
Yeah,
heard it.
dude.
He said it. I mean, it's in Smash Brothers, bro.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I used that song more than any other song recently to start every single stream. So my starting Sue screen, I'm rocking out to Megalovania.
I mean, he should know at the very basic that because freaking Kenny Omega came out to it when he dressed up like
Okay,
Sans
that's
at one
right.
time.
Fans.
But there's even some other good ones. Like you haven't. So spoilers, Metatron, whatever. He's in the game for a while, and there's a song that he has.
Yes.
It's called Death by Glamour or Death by Glam, something like that.
I think I've heard it a
And-
couple times with his bits, and I was listening to it, and it's weird because I went through all the songs on Spotify. I'm like, I don't recognize this one. It is so good.
This is the like do.
Yes.
Yes.
That one
It's
is
that one.
That one is like, again, it's one of those things where less is more in that game. Like this is just 8-bit music and it fucking rocks.
How
Like,
do you
how did
they
you do
make
this? How?
even freaking Temtem Village? How in the hell is
Temtems?
that like bop 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 bop, and it's all like little stupid dog noises, and you're like, I kind of like this a lot, actually.
I like that they buy everything you try to sell. No one else does, but they're just buy it.
Just the
One great
derpiness
thing-
of them too is just so endearing. It's so
a
endearing.
great thing about that too is if you actually don't sell a bunch of stuff to them and you just buy stuff and help her go to college, she will go to college. And when you go back to it, like if you try to sass her, it's like, I know what I'm talking about because I went to college. It's like, yep, that captures a lot of people I know in my life.
I was actually sent that clip because someone's like, Matt, you're not going to do it. Just watch this clip of what happens if you send him to college. It was stupendous. This game has stuff that I'm sure we've all missed at some point, but we friggin' love Undertale here. Someone else tell me about a game you're playing.
Me? All right.
Hey, why don't you go, Scott?
I'm going to connect with all the Zoomers out there listening to us because I think
Oh.
you make up a big portion. And I'm going to talk about Fortnite. And yes, Scott always is talking about Fortnite. He is always playing the Fortnite.
What
There's
level are
something
you
we
right
have-
now, Scott?
I
What,
am.
I'm like level like 45, 50, and Matt I think is like right around the same. Yeah.
I'm like 20.
135.
135?
It was pretty funny because yesterday I played a little bit with Chrome, and even Chrome, like, he didn't admit it, but he was like, damn, you played this game a lot. Like, you seem kind of like, I don't know, you seem a little bit intimidated by my level, but I'm actually not going to talk about Battle Royale. I want to talk about the new modes that came out with Fortnite. So I don't know if you guys have really, I think Matt has played quite a
With
bit
you.
of,
With you.
well, yeah, Matt has played, and I'll talk about each one by one. But I think the only ones Matt has played is the Lego Fortnite and Fortnite Festival.
Oh,
So the thing that I would not expect, so basically there's 3 main new modes they came out with, and that is Rocket Racing, done by the Rocket League guys. There is Lego Fortnite, which, you know, kind of the name is right there. It's Fortnite with Legos. And then there is Fortnite Festival, which is basically Rock Band. And it's not a ripoff of Rock Band because it's the actual Rock Band guys who made it. Now, based off previous episodes of this podcast and all my talk of like, I loved Rock Band. I wish Rock Band would come back. And me talking about my Lego sets, you know, they're way more interesting in my radioactive vodka. You'd think that like Lego Fortnite, Rock Band, or Fortnite Festival would be Scott's Jams. I actually didn't really like either of them all that much. I didn't. The surprise one that I have put the most time into is actually Rocket Racing.
Really?
And it's
Play
weird.
Rocket League. Play Rocket League. It's very
I like, so one thing I love about Rocket Racing is it's short. It's just little 2-minute races. You
Play
do
Marvel
3.
Snap.
Shut your whorish mouth. and- I'm sorry, that was mean. You're not a whore, Matt. You're a good girl.
I'm
You're
a
very
hoe at best. Thank
You're
you.
a very respectable woman who doesn't cut out. Anyway, I like how it's short. I like that.
We should reach out for a sponsor for Marvel Snap. Like, we're
Can't we
promoting
just
your
get
damn
this
game.
over with?
Matt is like your shill here. He is Matt is
Okay.
Marvel Snap's bitch.
There it is.
All right,
Gladly.
Mike, where are we at subscriber count wise? What's the number?
I think we're at 166. I think we're at 166.
160. We get to 200. I'll play Marvel Snap. I'll
Let's
stream
go.
it or
Let's
something.
go,
there
guy.
you go. So now
Stream
Matt
it
can't
even.
bug me.
Ooh.
Last
Matt
time that
can't bug me
happened
about it
was
anymore.
Fortnite, and now you're at level 135.
No, the only reason I'm doing this is now Matt can't keep telling me to do it because then I'll be all like, bro, it's up to the subscribers. I mean, it's up, like, it ain't in my hands anymore. So there we go. The subscribers. But anyway, what the hell was I saying? Oh, yes. Rocket Racing, it's fun. I'm at the point where you basically can only play ranked. There is no casual unless like you play with a bunch of friends. Like if you just want to jump onto a game yourself, it's ranked. And I'm at the point rank wise where every game is full of tryhards and they kind of ruining the experience. But up until that point, I had a lot of fun with it. Very simple, very cartoony physics, but I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Lego Fortnite, I'm not really digging just because it feels too much like Minecraft. And I've kind of like my issues I have with Minecraft now carry over into Lego Fortnite. The one that's a bummer is Fortnite Festival because it's basically Rock Band. And I think the main two problems with that is one, the songs are too freaking expensive. I am not dropping $5 per
Right?
song. That is like, I bought 2 songs. I bought a Queens of the Stone Age song because, it's Queens of the Stone Age, and that's like my all-time favorite band. Again, as previously discussed in this podcast. The other one is Lady Gaga.
What?
I'm a little monster. I am a big Lady Gaga fan. Right? I'm sure nobody could have predicted that. I really, really like. That's one of my bucket list.
Would you say you're her bitch?
I am a Gaga bit. I go Gaga for Gaga. But that is one of my bucket list concert. I am really disappointed that she does so much like weird stuff. She's toned it down on the weird stuff lately now that she's like getting more into acting. But I've always thought it was like a really huge disservice to herself that she kind of gets focused on the weird stuff, the meat dresses and all that, when she's like legitimately a very, very talented artist. She writes all her own stuff. Before she did solo work, she wrote huge hits for a ton of people in the pop industry. And I just think she's innovative. She comes up with really catchy songs. I really love Lady Gaga. But anyway, that's enough about that.
I agree, man, but I'm just surprised to hear you say this.
Scott, I mean, my number one genre of music is punk music, but I'm open-minded, and hopefully you hearing about my Lady Gaga fandom like proves that like, hey, wow, Scott doesn't only just listen to the Misfits and Rise Against and all.
I want to hear Lady Gaga do a punk song.
Dude,
I just want to hear that now.
baller.
How great would that be?
That would, or like punk covers of Lady Gaga.
She could do it.
Songs.
She could do, honestly, she could do any genre.
I want to hear her do something like really crazy. Like, here's a punk song from Lady Gaga. Here's a ska song from Lady Gaga. Bring it. Let's go.
Okay, hold
Dumb
on.
joke. I don't even know why I'm bringing this up. Oh, okay, go on, Mark.
I have to tell us, and then we'll go to your joke, and then we'll get back on topic. I saw this thing. AI voice stuff is scary as hell. Let me put that out there. Okay, it's very scary. I watched a whole bit from an AI voice doing George Carlin, and I didn't like it. It scared the hell out of me. Didn't like that. Okay, so I'm putting that out there before any of the anti-AI bros come after me. I don't like that part. Okay, I think there's places for AI. That's not one of them. Okay. That being said, I saw this thing. There's this guy called Seth something. He's a drummer, and people usually send him troll songs to go drum to. Somebody sent him Now That You're Just Somebody That I Used to Know. The song, like the pop, like kind of pop song.
Oh,
now
God,
you're just somebody that I used to know.
I don't miss that song.
Right. Okay. That song sung by 2003 Linkin Park full band. And it kicks so much ass that he's playing it, and you see the face the whole time going, what? And it's so cool. So I imagine Lady Gaga doing punk would be like that. Like, what is this? And I love it. Anyway, continue. Let's get back on track.
Honest, I don't even remember where I was at anymore.
You didn't like Lego Fortnite, and you're indifferent, it sounds like, to the Rock Band knockoff, even though you spent money on it.
The worst thing about it is just it's so awkward to play. And Matt did a few games with me too. And I don't know, I'll let you chime in with your like 5 minutes of experience in it. But it's so awkward. Like Rock Band needs the instruments. I know they're clunky, I know they're expensive, and I know they can be kind of cringe. Also, my CD drive just opened up right now. I don't know why. I think it's possessed.
Lady Gaga is telling you.
Is that a euphemism?
She's gone.
Yes.
Did you just open your CD drive for Lady Gaga?
Listen, this is audio only. You guys don't know. Not where.
But yeah, they don't
Throwing
know
that
what
out
the
there.
CD. They don't know it's an actual CD drive. Listeners, I just want you to. Oh my god.
He got so into it. I love that we're audio only. We could still clip it, but Scott was
I think
kind of
that's gonna be a short.
Scott was being kind of funny. Like I'm gonna rub my nipples right now, and then he got really into it. Like Scott, explain the emotions that just happened.
I was
right
trying to
there.
do it like an intense face, like I'm really going for it, but it really came off like a different type of intense. So
Yeah, you were that was you're really enjoying this kind of intense.
That was like freaking not Billy
You know what?
Madison. That was the water boy, the guy with the nipple rings at the end. That's what you were right now.
Next game.
Scott
Next
when he
game.
listens
We're done.
to-
We're
to
done. Next
Lady
game.
Gaga. All right,
Thanks,
Lego
Fortnite.
Lego Fortnite. I think it's fine. I actually had some fun with it. I don't think it's a Minecraft competitor. I think it's like a mix of like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley. I feel it's more like that with more freeform building stuff. There's some funny things with it, and I think at one point it had more players than anything else in Fortnite. So people like it. I don't know if I'll play it a whole lot. A quick little game I got. It was on sale on Steam sale. I would play with my wife. It's a game called Played Up. It's like an easier version of Overcooked, like a much easier, more chill version of Overcooked. And it's just a blast. It's really fun with people. I streamed it recently. I do think we would enjoy it as a group. I'm not going to push it, but as a group, I think we would actually vibe quite a bit with that game. But one game I would love to absolutely play with this group here
Do it.
is Dark Tide.
Yeah, I was gonna segue into that too. Hey, Matt, do you play Dark Tide?
I play Dark Tide.
Hey, ask me.
Mike, do you play Dark Tide?
I do. Scott, you should play Dark Tide.
Shout out again to Chrome. Chrome has been very generous, saying like he'll go through with me, he'll get me up to speed, he'll do whatever he can to get me on the Dark Tide train. And I'm 100% open to it. It just hasn't lined up yet timing wise for
Game
me.
Pass.
But I know it's on Game Pass. It's just like I said, I'm all in on The Last of Us, and you don't get to level 135 in Fortnite by sticking around,
by playing
so.
Dark Tide. No, you can't
Dark
play
Tide-
anything else.
A lot of fun. It's basically Left 4 Dead. It's a horde mode. It's just a horde mode, and it's very simple. You get your gun, you get your melee weapon, and you have your character that has his ability. There are some little like skill trees and things that kind of modify your character a bit, and that's it. It's so simple. You go in, just murder a bunch of things, do some objective, and you're out. You're in and out in like 30 minutes tops, having a good time. There's
Well,
difficulty levels.
it
as
depends
well.
on
Okay.
you
Okay,
haven't done
they-
the upper.
I haven't done the super hard ones.
They'll
yet
kick
because
your
I
ass
don't
real
hate-
hard.
I don't hate myself that much, but I've had a blast. I've only played with like people online. I haven't played randoms yet, but that's a really fun game. Also gifted to me by Chrome. So Dark Tide is one I think we would enjoy quite a bit. We don't need to spend a lot of time on it, but another game I think would be a lot of fun. It's really hot right now with streamers. Is a game called Lethal Company, which
Yeah.
was also gifted to me.
Yeah.
That is one we would enjoy quite a bit because it's just goofy and fun. The premise, it's a roguelike, but it's a FPS where you play little spaceman, you drop on random moons and you try to collect junk to meet a quota, sell the junk, go back, find some more junk. It is so fun and goofy with the roguelike elements, and there's just a lot of charm to it. It's just a fun game that I think this group would enjoy quite
100%.
a bit. Quite a bit. Someone else tell me a game you're playing.
Well, really quick, Matt, can we talk about how we've been playing a lot more PC games recently
I guess.
and
I
how
feel-
depressing that is?
I feel dirty. Like,
I do
You
too.
should.
I do
I
too.
really
Bored.
do because I'm a console guy, but really the Steam Deck is the biggest gateway to it. Well, Twitch is the biggest gateway to it, but the Steam Deck really helps like put these games in front of me. The hardest bit for me is to play like the ones that I really need to be on the PC, like Dark Tide, just because it puts me away from my wife, and I'm already working and then streaming quite a bit. And even though I game pretty much all the time, even next to my wife, I'm next to my wife, so it's kind of hard to like pull away, go to the PC. But I have been playing a lot more PC games like Dark Tide, like Lethal Company.
That's
like,
the beauty of
Steam Deck.
portability.
I know Dark Tide. I wouldn't want to play on the Steam Deck.
There are
I
two
don't-
things that I will praise all the time, and that is Game Pass and portable gaming, baby. Not handhelds, portable
Portable gaming.
consoles, portable gaming.
I don't
What
think
about
every
when
game
Game
needs it.
Pass comes to a portable gaming console?
Bro, if Game
The Steam
Pass
Deck?
officially came to the Steam Deck, that would probably be all that I ever play.
I don't know if Steam Deck would want that. Truth be told,
I don't think they would.
No, they don't. but Microsoft wants to give it to anybody and everybody.
I feel like
they
you
got
would
the
see it on
clap
the
and they want to
Switch.
give it to everybody.
I feel like
Good
you'll see it
song by
on
the
the
Unicorns.
Switch realistically within the next 5 years. But yeah, I think not going to be on the Steam Deck anytime soon.
No, but I mean, even playing those Microsoft games like Sea of Thieves and all that stuff on the deck, I'm telling you, man,
I haven't tried Sea of Thieves on the deck. I might try that one
you
because my wife and I
should,
both have it.
because
but her
your
laptop,
motion sickness will probably not happen on the deck.
True. Given when I play on PC, I still use an Xbox controller. If I can avoid using a mouse and keyboard, I do. Even when I'm playing Dark Tide controller.
Same here.
No,
You
controller only.
ain't wrong.
I've accepted. That's who I am.
Anyway.
Any other games you guys got? Someone listen to another game.
So-
Something cool.
I got a really quick shout out. Vampire Survivors still has his hooks in me.
Yeah.
Still does. I still play on my Switch. Like I was like the other day, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to play a game on my TV. You know what? I want to play Vampire Survivors. I booted up on my Switch. I'm like, I'll play like 10 minutes or something.
Of
An
all the
hour
games
and
Matt
a half
recommended-
later.
Of all the games recommended to me, Vampire Survivors is so far the clear winner from Matt. I'm saying it.
Yeah.
It just took me forcing him to play it, Matt. So that was like a team.
Basically,
It was a tag team effort there.
we took, and my wife's the one that first put it on my radar. She's like, Matt, play the game. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I finally did. I'm like, all right, this is sick. This is a fun little game. So I
Yeah.
technically own it. Like I'm like, this game is so cheap. It was like $2 or $3. I could have just
Yeah.
mooshed off my wife's. I'm like, nope, this guy gets my $2-3. It is that
It's
good of a
that good,
game.
yeah. So Vampire
like it.
Survivors just always there in the background. Pokemon Unite, I've recently gotten back into again.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm so surprised and happy that you like it, Matt, because now I'm like,
Yeah.
we should play this. I'm legitimately serious. I really enjoyed it. I know people hated it. They're like, oh, the microtransactions, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, normally I'm with you here. This game's fine. It's fine. I don't spend a dime on it, and I have a great time. And I can run around the freaking map as Bulbasaur and screw people up. I love it, right? It's fun. It's stupid. It's fun. It's the only MOBA that I've ever liked. The only one that I've ever liked. So like League of Legends, I didn't care about. Smite, I didn't care about. There's some other obscure ones out there I didn't care about. So yeah, that one's good.
I like Connect.
Another one that I played a bunch on the Switch because they had a demo. I ended up buying it on Steam because it was on a deep sale. Is Cult of the Lamb. I need to play more of that. I was blown away by just everything about it, and it's messed up. So go into that game knowing it's messed up. And then my final game. So those were my quick shots. My final thing. I know I'll get hate for this. I know it's a shoddy piece of shit, lazy a showing from Konami. But the Metal Gear Solid collection I got for Christmas, and I platinumed Metal Gear Solid 1. I forgot how damn good that game is, because there's a reason this series is like one of my favorite series of all time. And now I'm playing Metal Gear Solid 2, and I'm just like, and I feel this is like bringing me back from my childhood of like, I remember when I got my PS2 and I played this game, and it was the coolest thing in the world. And I'm actually planning on getting the platinum on every one of them, baby. Every one of them. I'm excited for Metal Gear Solid 3. That is like
Nostalgia.
Metal Gear Solid 3 is like pinnacle gaming, in my opinion. It is so good. And Scott, I don't think you've ever played it, right?
which one?
Metal Gear Solid 3? The third one?
Oh yeah, I've never played Metal Gear Solid 3.
Well, because you said in a previous podcast that you hadn't played a certain Metal Gear game, and I couldn't remember which one it was.
It
And
was
you're
the
like,
first. I played 2, which was okay. It was only okay.
if you
Metal Gear
replay
Solid
it, I think
3
you'd like it better now.
Metal Gear Solid 3 is like one of my 5 favorite games of all time, bro.
Oh, okay. So then maybe it was
Bro.
Metal Gear Solid 4 I was thinking of, though, too. You never played that. And
I've
you were
also never
hoping.
played 4.
That's what I was thinking of, because you were hoping it was going to come to Xbox.
Yes, I
That's-
was one
that's
of
the
those
one
sad
I'm thinking of.
people.
Metal Gear Solid 3, I'm looking forward to that one. But yeah, so I've been slowly making my way through that collection, which is garbage. Don't get it. Don't buy that. It's
You got it for free potentially.
yeah, exactly. So that's
Nos-
why I'm okay playing
nostalgia
it.
It's a heck of a drug.
And it's Metal Gear Solid, guys. Play Metal Gear. I don't care how you play it. Play the games. They're so good. So good.
Scott, do you have any other games you got playing right now?
That's actually it. Finished up Cult of the Lamb recently. Mike already kind of touched on that a bit. Great game. A little bit bad timing where I finished it up and then they just announced a new DLC for it. The Sins of the Flesh DLC, aka the notorious sex update. So
What?
Wait, what?
Yes.
That's what that
so
is?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys heard the story about it, but like I think it was early December, the X account. I don't know.
No, call it Twitter.
Twitter.
Musk is stupid. It's Twitter.
They did some type of post like if we get up to 1 million, they were close to whatever the number they said. So let's just say 1 million like subscribers, we'll release a sex update for Cult of the Lamb. And they got up to it in like a couple hours. And it became like an online like meme. Like it basically got the game trending a bit from it. It was very talked about. Like all my different gaming news websites were talking about like Cult of the Lamb gets a sex update. And the game is rated T. And they made it very clear to like, all right, we kind of backed ourselves into a corner on this one. So we're going to deliver the sex update, but we're still going to keep our T rating. So it's more, think like Pokemon, where you leave like 2 Pokemon together and you don't see anything happen. It's just implied that, they kind of do and then you come back and there's a baby. So, yeah.
So you have your followers do this basically?
Yes. And one thing I find
okay, wait, hold on. I didn't realize this game was rated teen. How is this game rated teen?
I was very surprised when I heard that myself. Like, I read the thing from them saying like, oh yeah, it was a little bit of a struggle us doing this and keeping the T rating. And I was just like, it was like record scratch. Wait, this was a T rated game? Because I've been in it and I've seen some shit in this game. And that really, like, teens, you're pretty fucked up if this is the type of stuff that they will release for you and let you play. But to like get back to Matt's original question, yes, it is your followers that you can go and hook up. And like they go into a tent together and you can see the tent shakes around, boot knocking. The thing I find hilarious is I think I heard this from you, Matt, that it has the ability to like
that was going to be my question.
Your followers on Twitch, you can go and make, followers within the game, and then you can force them to kind of like knock boots. So I don't know. Like I don't want to say combinations out loud, but there's certain, if you want to be a terrible person, Matt, like I think there's some pretty hilarious like pairings you can do of like your followers. Like,
well, that was the final nail for me to get the game because I played it on the Switch because there was a demo of it, and I was like, "This is really good. I might get this." And then Matt was like, "Hey, there's Twitch integration," and I was like, "Oh, it's on sale on Steam for like $10 or something like that." So I'm like, "I think I'm gonna get it on Steam," and I got it for that reason. I didn't know about the sex update.
And it's free. That's right.
I wonder
if
they
pay $5 for it.
I feel they had to have a conversation like that because like some like people are like, oh sure, I'll join the game, and then you make their avatar do things like that. I wonder if they might turn that off for the Twitch integration. I wonder if
better
that's an
not.
option.
Oh, they better.
I think they should. All right,
make your followers do the nasty.
Oh gosh, that sounds asking for trouble. Last game for me, I chatted about it with Sky a little bit. Nobody Saves the World, free on PS Plus right now. I love it. It's so good. It's funny. It's quirky. The art style is incredible. The gameplay is fun. Honestly, I like it better than Diablo 4. I said it. I think it's better Diablo. It's a fun game. I think everyone should play that and enjoy that. Hey guys, we're done talking about video games, but I want Mike to talk about something very important to me. The brand?
The brand. It's going to be the brand. Hey, you should share this with people. This is easy listening. Just put in your AirPods, your headphones, whatever you got. Just play our silky smooth voices and just listen to us talk about Matt's left nut all for an hour straight.
It's swelling with the
with joy.
With
joy. It's swelling with joy.
Don't get big head now, Matt.
Oh,
Moving on.
You even grossed yourself out there. You were like, that was bad. Mistake.
Scott just made a wiener joke, everybody.
But yes, the brand. You should. There it is. Yeah. You should share this. You should share this with everybody you know. You should be like, dude, there's this really cool podcast. I was gonna quack at you earlier, but I was like, nah, he looks like he's kind of pissed off. But you share it. It's great. This is a great podcast, right? So you should go do that. share it with everybody. So check out our shorts. So we'll be putting shorts up on the YouTube channel, so you can see our faces and the funny moments. You will not be seeing any balls or any wieners or anything else. I'm sorry about that, but we can't do that on YouTube. Can't do it. Maybe one day we'll create an OnlyFans, a Buds, Butts, and Balls OnlyFans.
And we want your guys' engagement. We want your comments, because I swear if we go another week where our comment section is, I'm going to lose my effing mind.
I was like, why is he bringing up the comments? That's why he wanted to use the cricket sound. Okay, fair enough. So, yeah, the brand. We love the brand. Hopefully you love the brand. Matt, I have a question for you. What is the next segment?
The next segment is the viewer question, your favorite segment of all time. The question where you ask a question. The segment where you ask a question to us, the Buds Busting Balls.
I heard you had a question. So many questions. Why don't you ask your question, and the Buds will bust an answer for you.
This question is from a person, parentheses, who isn't Scott. I wonder who wrote this one. Who knows? Probably not Scott, I guess. It's for everybody, and I think it's very topical. That's why I chose this question. You talked about the best games you played in 2023. What was the worst game? And I'm wondering if Mike and I's game is the same. The worst game I played and actually beat, Callisto Protocol. That game was a wet fart. I was very disappointed. There were some cool elements, and the only reason I beat it was out of pure stubbornness because I paid full price for that game.
That was 2023?
That was
2022.
That was no. Well, I mean, we're just talking about, are we talking about what came out in 2023 or played? The question is what you played in 2023. It did release I want to say like November or December. It released a little bit before Dead Space remake. So like October, November of 2022. But I didn't play it until later. Right. I didn't play it till literally the beginning of the year, right before Dead Space, because I was excited for Dead Space.
Yeah,
I don't really care either. Not that I wrote the question, but if I did write the question, I don't care. Either works.
Okay.
That was the worst game I played of 2023, but I see it did come out in December 2022.
I mean, if we're sticking straight to like 2023 games, dude, this is saying something about this year of gaming. I think the worst, and this is not saying it's bad, I'm just saying this is the worst of what I played, would probably be Advance Wars 1+2.
Ooh.
And that's not bad. It's just like the quality of games this year. I wish they had released that last year. Like, they should have. I mean, I get it, but also, like, no, like, that was way too long of a wait for that whole thing, right? But that was probably my worst game, and it's not bad. Probably my worst, though.
For me, it is, and this is such a bummer to say because on paper it should have been a home run, and I was so excited to lead up to it, but it's WrestleQuest. I have come to terms with WrestleQuest is not a good game. And for the most part, I can finish a bad game just for the sake of like, well, I already got a few trophies or achievements. Let me go through it. I don't know if I can go and bring myself eventually to finish WrestleQuest. I'm not feeling it. The humor falls flat. Like, it's just mostly the characters and the humor falls flat. And I have no reason to care about any of the characters. I don't care about the story. I can't even really tell you much of what the story is. And every time they do a joke, it's just like, I think you made a joke, but it wasn't funny. But it was awkward enough for me to think that you were trying to make a joke there. But I don't know. It was a miss. And that's a huge bummer for me because I love me my RPGs. And as previously established, I love me my wrestling. And you'd think the two together would work, and it could have worked. I just think it was a pretty weak writing team on that one. So sadly, yes, WrestleQuest, worst game of 2023 for me.
That is a good bad pick because I got that game literally for free, super jazzed to play it. I'm just like, this isn't good. Like,
how far did you get?
I barely played it. Like, I got through like the training bit and I started walking through the overworld and chatting with people. I went to the Snow Town area and I'm just like, I don't like a single thing that I'm doing in this game.
And the thing is, I'm probably like 5 hours further into it from that point, and it was my hope of like, maybe it'll get better. Whatever you're experiencing right now, that's how what you're still gonna experience like 5 minutes or 5 hours from that point.
I think what I hated the most was the main character thinks pro wrestling is real, but the game is like, no, it's a show. I'm like, no, I thought this game was supposed pro wrestling is real, but the main character thinks it's real, but everyone talks about how it's staged in the game itself. And that immediately was like a wet fart for me.
I don't know what Mike heard, but for me, like Matt cut out,
Cut
and,
out.
Did I?
and then when it came back, the first thing you hear is pro wrestling is real, and I was like,
Yes.
all right, we got
Okay, okay. Just to repeat real quick, the main character thinks pro wrestling is real. That's what the main character thinks, but everyone is like, no, it's still a show. I'm like, this is a video game. I thought the whole world was supposed to think pro wrestling is real. So that just immediately also pulled me away from the game. But all right, that's a good choice. I didn't even think about it because I played it. I was like, I'm done, and just didn't touch it anymore. Hey, Scott, do you have a rant for us today?
Do I have a rant for you?
Ooh.
I have a rant for you.
Depressing rant. Let's go.
Look over there, he just doesn't care. He's going off on a crowd of people, throwing words in the air like he just don't care. He's yelling at all of us sheeple. It's a Scotty Border Body rant. It's a Scotty Border Body rant. It's a Scotty Border Body rant. It's rant time.
Let me tell you something, brother. All my potty maniacs out there, you know what I really can't stand? What grinds the pot stirs, gears, oranges. No, and I'm not talking about the color. I'm talking about the fruit. I am onto you, fruit. You are by far the laziest fruit out there. And that's right, I'm even including kiwis. You are even lazier than them. You know why, oranges? Let's first talk about the name. Do we call grapes purples? Do we call apples reds? No. So what the fuck do you think you're doing trying to get away with just calling yourself the color of you? That is so fucking lazy. You couldn't call yourself like a waxy round or something. No, it's just like, no, I'm orange. Just like, screw you. At least Carrot put a little bit of effort into this, you bastard. And what about this whole drinking orange juice and then it tastes like shit after you brush your teeth? What is up with that? Why do you do that? It's not like apple juice tastes like shit after you brush your teeth. It is not fair, orange juice. You are a son of a bitch. I say right there. And don't even get me started with orange flavored candy. That doesn't even taste like orange. That tastes like shit in a wrapper. How dare you? I refuse to eat that candy. That's why I feed it all to Matt. That's right. Oranges, you are despicable. I am on to you. And you better shape up or, quite frankly, ship out. Thank you, and God bless the United States of America.
Okay. 2 things. 1, that was not on my bingo card. Not even close. Not even close. Number 2, I love that you had to highlight your blacked out rant.
I'm so glad you saw that.
To remind yourself of what your rant was. So listeners, viewers, I might make this a clip. We have an outline, even the unstructured ones like this one, and he puts his rant there and he blacks it out. I purposefully don't look at it because I want to be surprised. I want to be shocked by the fact that he's yelling about oranges. He highlighted it right before to remind himself, wait, what am I ranting about tonight?
I mean, we talked about a lot of games tonight. We talked about Matt's nether regions a lot. It's just like, I need a little bit of a reminder, honestly.
That's wonderful.
He was distracted by my girth. Stupendous. Scott is right, though. He hates orange flavor candies, and to this day, I hate Skittles now because of this man. Because he bought 1,000,000 Skittles, like 1,000,000 Skittles, and he would eat every Skittle except the purple and the orange ones. And then I would walk over to his desk a couple times a day, and he'd just give me those Skittles. I'm like, sweet, free candy. I did this for about a month straight, and I got so sick of those candies. I hate grape and orange Skittles so much because of Scott Stevens here. I hate
That was
them.
actually intentional. That was mental conditioning. I was trying to
It
perform a
worked.
scientific experiment if I could go and create a lifelong hatred of orange and
And you
grape
did it.
flavored candies for you.
Success.
he did.
Science! Science!
It worked. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed our writing here. None. Chaos. Anyone that wants to leave comments on the things, you can leave comments, put it in our Discords, wherever. Let us know some of the games you're playing right now. What are you enjoying? Do you like any of the games that we're playing? That'd be pretty cool if you shared that with us. I think we're done, guys. Are we done?
I think we're done. I think
We're
we're done.
done.
Let's
Okay.
all leave hating oranges.
I like how it says Mike does the goodbye, but Matt, like the selfish son of a bitch that he is, goes and takes that from him.
It's fine.
You little bastard. No, it's not fine, Mike.
It's
Don't
fine.
go and allow his behavior.
Look, man.
Screw you, Matt.
Look, man. I just have to. We'll end on this, okay? I felt bad. I felt like I needed to give him that one because we both have 2 nuts and he only has 1.
No, he has both. Just one is an orange and one is.
Oh my god. Okay, well that's actually, I guess, more accurate.
And I will leave you all with that.
And with that, goodbye, listeners. We love you. Okay, bye.
Testicles.